Welcome back to another episode of the Classic Cinema Cocktail Club. You may notice that things are looking a little spooky around here this time, and that is because I am a major Halloween lover. I miss the season so much, and I thought in honor of halfway to Halloween, we would look at a spooky film from the past, and that film is 1959's The House on Haunted Hill.
Well, if I were going to haunt anybody, this would certainly be the house I'd do it in.
Who closed the door?
This movie came out February 17th of 1959. It was directed by William Castle and is a low-budget haunted house film through and through, which I think is part of its lasting charms. It has so much good spooky haunted house atmosphere that really get you into the Halloween spirit. It had an ensemble cast, but at the top, we of course have the king of horror films, Vincent Price, playing Frederick Loren, the eccentric billionaire who had a taste for the dramatic. His wife, Annabelle, played by Carol Ohmart, and the rest of the cast is Richard Long, Alan Marshall, Carolyn Craig, Elijah Cook, Robert Mitchum's sister, Julie Mitchum, is in this film, and once you realize they are siblings, you see how very similar the two of them actually looked. Vincent Price's Frederick is throwing a party, a haunted house party.
There'll be food and drink and ghosts, and perhaps even a few murders. You're all invited.
He is throwing this party for his wife Annabelle, who doesn't even want to go to it, but he invites 5 people. And he tells these people, if you could stay the night in this house, the doors will be locked at midnight, the windows will be barred, there is no radio or telephone. If you can survive till the morning, I will give you $10,000. And some of them are skeptical at all about these ghosts. Some of them are a little bit nervous. And one of them, Elijah Cook's character, Watson, is full send, this house is haunted.
You can hear them at night. They whisper to each other. I've only spent one night there, and when they found me in the morning, I was almost dead.
The Lorens have what we can call a tense relationship. Frederick tells Annabelle, of all my wives, you're the least agreeable, to which she responds,
But still alive.
that is because Frederick's first wife went missing and the next 2 were murdered. Frederick thinks that Annabelle is trying to poison him to acquire his wealth, something that she elusively denies and chalks his suspicions up to paranoia and jealousy. Watson decides he is going to give a tour of his home, which includes the basement. And in this basement is an active vat of acid just hanging out there in the open, which seems a little bit dangerous if you ask me, but there it was. And he leaves. And Lance and Nora decide we should just hang around and explore the basement of this haunted house, which leads to Lance being locked in a dark, empty room and struck over the head. And then Nora is confronted by a menacing ghost who seems to just glide and appear, as though she was on roller skates or a dolly. I'm not gonna go any further than that into the plot because you have to just watch it. There's some twists and things involved. It just has some great old-fashioned spooky haunted house vibes, which are my personal favorite when it comes to Halloween viewing. I don't like really gory or graphic things. I like me just some cobwebs, candelabras, and spooky sounds. I am excited because I get to finally use more of this black vodka that I originally got for Halloween cocktails. This is by a company called Blavod, and the shade is a natural result of the infusion of black K2, and it makes it perfect for our Halloween cocktails. This is great in a drink like we're making, but I think that it has a little bit of a more unique flavor than what you would expect from a vodka, and I've used it in a dirty martini, and I just didn't like the way that it changed the flavor of that. So just something to note. There are other ways to make your cocktail black. You can use activated charcoal or food coloring, but please note, there are cons to both of those. Activated charcoal could interfere with certain types of medications, and black food coloring is gonna leave your teeth black for the rest of the night. And that is why I went out of my way to find this, because admittedly it was not easy to get in my area. But if you're able to find this easier than I was, by all means, this is the way I would recommend getting that black shade in your cocktails. I wanted to bring in even more dark and moody ingredients, so we're gonna use Blackberry Liqueur and Pomegranate Juice to represent the blood that was dripping down from the ceiling, and Campari, which is a bitter ingredient, and that bitterness is meant to represent the mood and the tension that was felt by those who were in the haunted house. And of course, We're gonna top this with Club Soda to represent that vat of acid that was just casually chilling in the basement. We're gonna start with 1.5 ounces of our black vodka, and as we build this cocktail, I'm gonna share some fun facts about the house on Haunted Hill. So the exterior shots of the house were filmed in Los Angeles, and they used a home built by Frank Lloyd Wright in 1924. It's called the Ennis House. I'll put a photo right here. It has a very unique look to it. It last sold in 2019 for a mere $18 million. Half ounce of Blackberry Liqueur, and to be honest, I made a special run to the store for this one, not one that I had on hand. I have seen this is one that can be used in some tiki cocktails, and I love tiki cocktails, so I'm definitely gonna put it to other uses. All right, next we're gonna introduce our Campari. We're gonna do a 1/4 ounce of this. Here's our pomegranate juice. We're gonna use 3/4 of an ounce of this. And like I said, the film was low budget, so that called for some creative problem solving to help get their point across. And one thing that I think they did that was really effective to do that was the use of total darkness and just spooky sounds at the beginning of the film. When it came out in 1959 in this huge theater, it's just darkness, and you're sitting there and you hear these sounds. That can be really effective to set the mood. Another thing that William Castle did that he called emergo was to have theaters install these pulley systems with skeletons on them to come over the audience at the correct and corresponding time in the film. And this gimmick was useful in helping to get the word out about his movie, because low budget, you don't have any money to actually market it. You need people to do that for you. And how did he do that? With this little gimmick, which gimmicks like this were pretty prevalent in that decade. Next, we're gonna add a 1/2 ounce of lime juice. Thanks in part to William Castle's gimmicks, The House on Haunted Hill was a box office success, so much so that Alfred Hitchcock himself took notice of this success and was inspired to create his own low-budget horror film, which turned out to be Psycho. So I'm glad he was inspired by The House on Haunted Hill, because that is my favorite Hitchcock film. We're gonna top with our Club Soda to represent our vat of acid. I still don't have a siphon. If you saw the last episode I did of the Classic Cinema Cocktail Club, you know what I am talking about. Until then, we're gonna have to make do with this. You know what would have really been great? Dry ice. I have used that before for Halloween cocktails. I did not get it this time. Coming in October though, plenty of dry ice will be had. Angostura bitters, just to add a little bit more bitterness, tension. I'm going to use this Skull cocktail pick with some blackberries on it. And there you have it, our House on Haunted Hill cocktail. And that is still an appropriate title for the film, because the theatrical trailer had it called The House on Haunted Hill. The promotional materials called it House on Haunted Hill. So whichever one you choose to use, here's our cocktail inspired by the film. And now it's time we taste it. Ooh, tart. It's boozy. You have 3 different liquors going on in there. It has that dark fruity flavor, which makes sense because of the blackberry, and it's appropriate for the theme we were going for, which I think makes it a really great Halloween time cocktail, or a halfway to Halloween time cocktail. We shall count down the days until our season is back. Not too tart. You are getting the lime though, but I wouldn't call it too tart. I would say it is on the sweeter side. I am not generally a sweet cocktail connoisseur. The ones I've made to date on this series have not been very sweet, so maybe this one is for you if you prefer a more sweet cocktail. I think that we did a good job for our inspiration. I love the little cocktail pick and the glass. That adds a lot of the character and mood to it. Put this in your back pocket, save the video, come back, watch it when it's closer to Halloween time if you want to wait until then. If you don't want to wait, if you want to celebrate halfway to Halloween, then by all means give it a try. I think you will enjoy. All right, that does it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. Go and watch The House on Haunted Hill. It is still a highly praised film and regarded as a classic of the horror genre. You can watch it for halfway to Halloween or just wait until the regular Halloween season and make this drink. If you do, let me know in the comments what you think about it. And until that next video, I am wishing you a super swell day and I will see you then. Bye.